Okay, so let's see the practical app you are going to develop at the end of these lessons. So this is the source code you will be developing, and once you run it, you will see a web application, and this is a survey system. You are going to develop a real world survey system, and this is a complete project where the admin can log in, can register if they want, or they can log in using their previous credentials. Likewise, and sign in, and then admin will be taken to the admin dashboard, which has lots of options such as to define the questions. These are all coming from the database dynamically, and you will learn how to add, edit, delete the data and populate the data dynamically likewise, and define the questions so the data will appear dynamically. And then you will learn how to create settings pages and save the data to the database once again, and see who are the respondents who has taken this survey, and with the log information. You will learn how to create sophisticated search dashboards, and you will learn about how to filter data and search, where admin can find information about different users who has taken the survey. So and then if I log out, and then a normal user, if a normal user comes to the home page, a normal user can start taking the survey. A user can register if needed, or if not, a user can take it anonymously. User will be able to take this anonymously. Let's say if this is test2 user, so test2 at, so, and if user says no, I don't want to register, and if user says next, then the survey will start anonymously, and all the data is coming from the database. So you learn about connecting to a remote database, which is not in this computer, it's on a remote server. So you will learn how to do that, and then you will learn how to take the survey questions, and there will be multiple survey questions. So I will just fast forward this. So I fast forwarded the questions. I just click next and answered them. And final question is, what is the state? So if the user says, okay, this is the state, and click next. And these are the questions I answered. So, and then the user or the respondent can review them and submit the answers. So then the data will go into the remote database. So you will learn about how to save it, and click next, and then it takes the user or the respondent back to the home page. So this is the app you will be developing at the end of these lessons. And the specialty of this app is it's a data driven app, and it's completely dynamic, and all the data is coming from the database, and there is admin dashboard, a sophisticated admin dashboard, and a separate user sessions. You will learn the complete source code from the scratch to develop this. So let's go and develop this application now. Let's start doing it now. Hi everyone, welcome to ASP.NET Complete Project Survey System Part 14, Common Status Message Page. So this is a continuation of a complete project, and we are developing it according to industrial standards. So make sure to look at the entire series. So let's see what is in this lesson. We will be using these tools for this lecture, and make sure to cover these prerequisites before you do this lecture. So in this session, what we are doing is we are continuing from the previous project, from the previous lesson, and into that we are going to add a common page to display the status messages. When I say status message, it can be an error message or it can be a success message. So we are going to come up with a common page which can be used by any which can display the message of any operation, and which can be used by any page. So once we do it, you will understand why we are trying to do this common page. So maybe until that, just try to get the overall idea. So this page, second bullet point, can be called by any page. As I said, third bullet point, this page is needed because in many operations, when I say operations, it can be, for example, user registration, for example. So in many operations, before we proceed to the next page, so once the user got registered, like in the previous lesson, the operation was user registration. So then after the user registration, before we proceed to the next page, so the next page is starting the survey. So before we go to that next page, sometimes we need to first inform the user the status of the operation, whether the operation is successful or fail. Now we did that in the previous lesson using a label, but instead of using a label, if you look at the previous lesson, you will know, instead of using the label, we are trying to use a complete page, independent page. The reason is we want to display the message in a new page, not in the same, let's say, the user registration page. So that is what this third bullet point explains about the need of this. So let's look the need of this. So let's read it. So we need to first inform the user the status of the operation, whether it's success or failure, and then only let the user click a button. So we need to say, okay, user registration success. And then we need to let the user click a button and move forward. Now, previous lesson, we gave the message in a label, but it was in the same page. Now, when we do this, you will see that sometimes it's good to have another page for that. Now, when we create this page, to that ASP page, we need to, that page needs to receive following as input in the page load method, the operation perform, because this page, common page, can be used by any operation. It can be user registration or it can be admin registration. So we need to know what operation is performed so that we can make it a generic page. So if we receive the operation, we can just display it and say, okay, user registration successful. If it's called by admin registration, we can say admin register. So we need to know what the operation. Then we can say admin registration successful. Then the message is it successful or not successful? And then what should be the next page, because this is a common page, so we have only one next button. So after user registration operation, we need to go to the survey page, but after admin registration operation, we need to go to the admin page. So it's the next page is different for each operation, so we need to know what the next page, so we can redirect it dynamically. So as usual, we'll be doing practicals. So now let's go and do this practical. So this is the output of the previous project in the previous lesson. So if you remember that when we have put existing email, let's say if this user is already registered with this email, and when I click register button, you can see it's connecting to the database and then it figures out the email already registered. Now in the previous lesson, the message is given here, but now in this lesson, we are trying to take this or give this message in that common page. So let's try to do it now. So at the moment in this page, so if I expand the view and respondents, and this is the respondent registration page. If you look at it, you will see at the moment when the user registers, we call those methods which we created in the previous lesson, and see, this is the line. It's displaying the message in the label. So instead of displaying this message in the label, I want to display it in a common page. So now let's see how to do that common page. So that is a common page. So the common pages will just be like the home page is common. So this new one will be in the view folder, not inside respondent. So in the view folder, I'm going to say add a new item, and then I'm going to say it's a web form with master page, because we are using a master page as the common template. I'm going to give the name of the page as status message. So it's a ASP page, and we will be selecting the existing master so that we can get the same look and feel using the master template. So the status message page got created. Okay, so now in this page, what we want to do is, it got the common template. So let's now design this page. So first of all, I'm going to the respondent registration page, because that is where we need to call this new page from. And now instead of just displaying the message, it's not only the message, now it has many requirements. So let's add a couple of things here. Now, as explained in the slides just a little while ago, it's dynamic. So I need a couple of variables. So I'm going to do it now. Okay, so I created an action perform variable to tell what is the action, because that new page is common. I need to pass the action to that page. Then also the new page, when I say new page, the status message page is common. So I need to tell it what is the next page. But this next page depends on the status of the operation. So for example, what I mean by that is, if I put if condition here, I'm going to write some code and fast forward. Okay. So for example, if the result status is 1, now 1 means register successful, or 2 means email is already registered, so you don't have to register. But 3, there's an error. So for 1 and 2, I can send the user to the survey page, because either registration successful or email is there, so no need to register. In both cases, I can send the user to the survey page. But if there's an error, probably I have to send the user again to the registration page, so the user can try to register again, something like that. So if the status code is 1 or 2, as I said, I'm going to tell OK to that next page over here. I'm going to say, OK, I want my next page as a survey page which is inside respondent, right? Because I need to say where it is, because as you can see, it's inside respondent. Now else means if the status code is not 1 or 2, then that means the user registration is not successful. In that case, my next page, I want it to redirect the user again to the registration page. And then I don't want to display it in a label, so I'm going to comment it. And let me do one more thing. Let's keep that label, but let's just remove the text inside that label. So if I click the label and if I property palette, I remove the text. So now even though the label is there, nothing appears. We can use it later for let's say to display a testing message or something. So anyhow, I'm not going to use it now, so I commented that. But the next thing is, now I'm going to because I'm not displaying it in the label, now I have to load the new page. The new page is status message page. So for that, I have to redirect because that is the command we use to go into another page programmatically. The command is redirect. So I'm going to write the code and fast forward. Okay. So we will say redirect to that new page. That is what I created just now. But into that, I am passing some query parameters, so question mark, and then what starts is known as query parameters. So the first parameter I'm going to pass to this page is the operation performed, which is why I assign that value and over here. Then ampersand means I'm separating the query parameters. Then message. Okay, what is the message I want to display? So the message I'm taking from the result status, because that has the message. And then the third parameter is what is the next page. Now that is dynamically changing. Awesome. So that is all I had to do in this page. Now it's all about going and designing the status messages page, because to the status messages page, I am sending 3 attributes. Sorry, 3 query parameters. So what I have to do in the status message page is I have to go to the form load of that. And from this form load, I can read those query parameters. So that is what I have to do now. So let's read the incoming query parameters. So we were in the page, the front, and then just below it, if you look at my mouse, you got the C# code. So inside the page load, let's do it now. So let's put a comment. Let me write it and fast forward. Okay. So as we said, these 3 has to be received. That's what I said earlier. So you can take each one. Now let's say, now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to also design the front end, because I need to put some components such as labels to display this. So in the common page, which is the status message page, I'm going to the design, and then I'm going to design the front end for it, right? So let's do it now. So first of all, let's put a label here. So let's go to toolbox and let's put a label, and let's delete the content of it, and then let's put the ID of it as label operation performed. Type that label operation performed as the ID, and then in front of that, let's say that is the operation name. Then let's say I want to say the status of it. Okay, so the user will see, okay, for example, user registration status or admin registration status, something like that. Awesome. So now also let's give some size and that kind of a few things. Let's also look at what has been auto generated when we put the label and that. So let's have a quick look. Let's go to the source. Okay, now it's in the main content. That is what we want, right? And let's put this into a div tag or a paragraph, just as a logical division, right? Maybe you can use a div tag or a paragraph. So, and then let's click on the div, and then let's click the design, and then let's give a background, the usual background color we were giving, the usual background color. Okay, let's put that, and then let's click on the label, and let's say, okay, it's going to be a H3, or maybe we can increase the font size. Let's click the source. So it's inside H3. So let's see if I can put this also into that, because otherwise it put it into the next line. So let's see if I can just bring it inside the H3 so that it comes in the same line, right? Let's just give a try. Let's now go and click the design. Okay, now you can see it's there. Awesome, right? Now we got that label, and also let's put a button, right? Soon after this, let's put a button, but I will go to the source code and I will just keep my cursor at the end of H3. Then I will come to the design and then press the enter key. Okay, then I got this background color continued. So let me try to just remove it and see. No, let me undo this. Let me undo this. I undo it, and then let's go to the source code, and let's after this div, let's press like this, the enter key. So then the cursor should be down there. Let's type something. If it's not coming, don't worry, just type so that you will see, okay, there is something, right? As you can see, now it worked. Okay, so now press the enter, because I just wanted to bring the cursor down. And what I want to do is I want to put a button, but that button I'm not going to put a C# button. I'm going to put HTML button, because when I click this button, I don't have to write any C# code. When I click this button, which is this, the next button, I will put it first and then show you. It is the next button. So I just need to go to a page. So in that case, if I don't want to write any C# code, if I just, when I click the button, if I just want to go to a page, I can easily put HTML button and just put a hyperlink. So that's what I'm going to do. And that HTML button also we can get from like a previous page, because we have decorated buttons. So the start survey is HTML button. So I'm going to copy it from here, Control C, and then I'm going to go to the status message page. Then I'm going to move Control V, and then I'm simply going to the source, and I'm simply telling, okay, it's just the next button. And because I copied that button in that home page also, it's a anchor tag. It was with anchor tag, so it automatically copied that anchor tag here, right? Which is what I want here as well. Now keep in mind, I didn't type it. It came when I copy it from the home page, because in that also it was anchor tag. The only difference here is the value I'm putting here should dynamically change. Now let's do that first before anything else so that you understand this. So in the page load, now I'm going to get those values because now I need to tell it, okay, move it, go, what is the next page, likewise. So let's take those values now. So for example, I'm going to take the incoming that URL query parameter next page because we pass it from the previous page. So I'm going to create a string. So let's just put it here as a, let's create the variable as an attribute because I need to access this from the ASP page. So then I'm just putting the incoming next page value. Now the beauty of this is this variable next page, which has the incoming dynamic value next page, I can straight away put this into the ASP page. I can refer it from the ASP page. Let me show you how to refer it from the ASP page. So we are going to write a code block to refer it. So what you do is, now your attribute is next page. Now you got a value in it. Now this next page you want to attach to the button. So the button next, that value has to be given to the hyperlink over here. So this value is what I got from the page load as next page. So you can put it immediately, you can put it straight away here. So this is how you do it. So you will say angle bracket percentage equal next page, right? Now let's see, let's save this. We are getting an error. Let's refer into the code first and see what it has, because there can be a small issue. Let's go and have a look at it now. Let's compile and see once. Let's say build the solution. Okay, so there was no error actually, though it was giving it. So I didn't do any change, but it says build succeeded, right? So there is, okay, there is an error. The name next page does not exist in the current context. So it gives an error. We will have to see what this error is because it's giving error. Let's compile it once again. Build. It says 0 succeeded and 0 failed, right? Now if I look at the error list, that error is gone. So this is weird. Let's build once again. Okay, so now there is no error. So it was something very weird, and it went off. I didn't do any change. There's a warning message. Attribute requires a value. What is this? Okay, href. What is this page? The home page. Okay. We have not yet given it because it's the admin page. Okay, don't worry about that, right? Let's come back into where we were. Let's ignore this. So now this is working. So this is how you refer attribute which is declared in the C# class. This attribute, this is how you refer it from the ASP page. You put this syntax, angle bracket percentage equal, then put this variable and you can refer it. Awesome. So now this will dynamically give what is your next page, right? It will dynamically give you the next page. Now let's go to the design and see if we have put all the labels. And so we need to have another label to display the message, right? So let's do it now. So over here, instead of just this text, let's put a label, toolbox, label, and let's call this label ID, let's call it as label message. Now what I have to do from the page load is to just get the incoming data and display this incoming data in the relevant labels, because we got a couple of labels. One is the label operation performed, the next one is the label message. So let me write the code and fast forward it to you. Okay, so these incoming parameters we got action performed. I'm getting it. This is how you get it, the incoming parameter from the request. You say params and get, then you put that as the operation, then you get the message and you put it into the label message, and the next page is dynamically given. That's it. And let's decorate it quickly with image, and then we are done, right? So I'm going to quickly copy an image, which you know how to do it because we have done it multiple times. Okay, so I run the project and took it to this location, and let's click register now with now we know John is existing user. So if I click register, see, now it works. It's going to that new common status page, and it says user registration status, and it says email already registered. Awesome, right? Now let's okay, it's already registered, so let's go back. Now let's say if I put a new user, so let me put a new user to register, but before that, these are the existing users in the remote database. I just put some sample values, just a quick abc.com, because we don't have it. Now register. So for that, it even for ABC, it says it's already there. Is that there? Yeah, because okay, so there's a mistake here. Now ABC is not here, but it gives us error. So we need to check it, right? So it says email is already existing, but it's not there. Let's check it. Okay, so it is a weird message because I just tried putting the same thing now, and it says registration successful without any single change in the code. So if I run the query, now it works. So it has been some technical, I don't know, runtime, some weird message, but it's working, right? So as you can see, so it's all good. I didn't do any change, right? Awesome. So now it works. So now it shows to you that the common page is in action, right? So maybe you can just bold the message, that's it, and all good. So you successfully created a common page which can be reused by multiple operations. Okay, so we did the practical demonstration. The conclusion is you learn about creating the common page, and it can be used by multiple operations. We use these references for this lecture, and make sure to look at the next lessons to complete this, because it's a complete project, and from A to Z we are developing, and we are developing it according to industrial standards. So in order to see how industrial developers would do things, make sure to look at the next lesson and continue this project. So we are very excited to see you in our next lesson. See you all in the next lesson.